fun who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. New fun who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. Who this? You fun who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. You fun who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. Pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' all out, it's all I do, babe. Pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' you fun who this? Somebody get me. 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 Pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' all out, it's all I do, babe. Pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' you fun who this?
Let's go.
Is, the tactical task to breathe fire has now been issued. Good to go. You will breathe fire day in and day out for the next 2 months. You will breathe fire in your sleep. You will feel fatigue. You will feel fear. You will feel happiness. You will feel regret. You will feel sadness. At the end of the day, you will continue to breathe fire. Gonna go. Okay, with that said, you will take the operational instinct, and here's what I tell you to do, and it's almost one of those impossible tasks, but you gotta fight for it every day. You gotta use that operational instinct, and you gotta know what happens before it happens. You gotta stay methodical on the field. You gotta stay clear-headed on the field. You gotta work any resource as required to move like this. Move methodical and ensure you always have mutual support in position to affect the fight and bring fire as required to fucking kill the enemy. Kill the enemy! Kill the enemy! Kill the enemy! Gonna go! We're going to have the required obligation of restraint to protect those who need to be protected. Getting put on the battlefield is going to be very challenging, but don't ever forget this. You are obligated to protect and serve the Marines on the left and right flank of you 24/7. Gonna go! Get it? You will always be supported. Your actions will always be justified. We're gonna go in together, and no matter what the outcome is, man, I tell you right now, no matter what the outcome is, but we can't live in this fantasy world, but we have to be ready. We have to come to grips with peace and with God, that we're heading into environments that no one's headed into in the past 9 years. When this war started, it's gonna go. It's gonna be a tough environment. You guys are gonna be tasked and tested to a degree you've never been tested before. But I tell you right now, we will all come home together. I say it again. We will all come home together. Gonna go! Yeah. You guys will do the unit proud. You will do your country proud. Don't let fear get in that brain of yours. The enemy is not 10 feet tall. He's 14. He has 2 reach, and you're gonna fuck him up. Gonna go? Yeah.
This will be the last time that we're together en masse before we cross the line of departure. Gentlemen, now is the time to exploit the opportunity you have to call home to your loved ones and get right with your God. We might not all make it back, all right? We need to come to terms with that. The strength of the wolf is the pack. The strength of the pack is the wolf. You have to be able to rely on that Marine to your left and right, just like the CO said, and he has got to be able to rely on you. If you're an atheist, play along. The power of prayer is exactly that. Please bow your heads.
Artillery is just locked in on.
Hello and welcome everyone to the TPL D2 finals match between 3-5 and ROFS. My name is Caparzo, and I'm joined today by Osiris of EXO. Welcome, Osiris. Glad to have you.
Well, thank you for having me, Caparzo. Glad to be here. For those of you that didn't see it this morning, I had my first co-stream with Smithers, and I couldn't get enough. So here I am doing the D2 Championship co-stream with Caparzo. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So first of all, thanks to Vader of 3-5 for putting together that little hype video before the match. So we remain impartial on the Premier League stream, but that was a great little video that they put together, especially honoring their fallen clanmate 3-5 role. So obviously we're thinking about those boys, and you know, I was glad to see their community rally around 3-5 this last couple weeks ago and donate to that cause. So thank you everyone in this community. You guys prove again why this is the best community around. But we already have a map change. We are so lucky here. We got this one going quickly. So we're going to be on Driel. We have ROFS are going to be the British and 3-5 the Axis. So Axis a little bit of a disadvantage. Both points, midpoints, other than the bridge being on the Allies side of the water. So it's going to be interesting. Maybe we get that bridge point that I know we've all been kind of looking for this season, actually having seen Driel a few times, which is, I think, more than anyone expected.
Yeah, another thing I'd like to throw out there with the British is that you also get, you know, they have the capability of calling in both tanks. You know, the British armor is really not the best, and I mean they even have a heavy without a coax on it, and with a absolutely atrocious turn radius. So I'm real curious to see if ROFS, you know, tries to use that advantage, and I'm really also curious to see what 3-5 does about the fact that they're going to be dealing with, you know, potentially, you know, 2 heavies at a time.
So we are going to be on 3-5's team, which is the Axis, and I'm joining on Mr. Comet, who is their famous artilleryman here, who's been having a great season here. This looks to be an option, and it does look like it's gun emplacements, so the east side here. Very interesting. So that advantage that the Allies have going to be in full effect here. Let's jump up in admin cam and fly on over. So Osiris, you played this pretty recently as the Axis. So what are the what are the 3-5 guys and girls thinking right now as they approach this team from this point from the German side?
Coming across the river, and I mean whether it's gun emplacements or any of the other 2 points, it really has to be a full commitment to getting across the water. The one thing I like about gun emplacements for the Axis side is that the British do have to come up a bit of a steep hill to get up onto the road, whereas Axis they can immediately get into the embankment because it's kind of a drop off into the water. Also getting a garrison on that map edge of the peninsula all the way to the edge of the map there is going to be key as well. I'm real curious as to, you know, what they're going to do with their armor. You know, if I was on the Axis side, I probably would put a tank maybe up on the bridge somewhere high that can really provide fantastic HE support into gun emplacements itself while the 3-5 guys are attacking.
Yeah, and anytime I see a map that's this sort of flat, you kind of think AT guns and like snipes off the rip. So I'm sure if there's been any trend this season as it compares to previous seasons of competitive play in this league, it would certainly be the addition of snipes becoming a very important part of what teams prepare for. Not sure if maybe this score bug is not going to up. Oh, there we go. All I had to do was talk about it, ladies and gentlemen, and then it started cooperating. Look at that. Isn't technology wonderful? But we're about 30 seconds away here. We see 3-5 lining up very heavily, kind of almost non-existent on this side of the road, except for maybe just a sapper squad that they got going on here. On the ROF side of things, let me do some settings really quick, make sure that this appears as far away as possible, which I think it is. Okay. And we are underway. Division 2 championship match between 3-5 and ROFS. What do
Another thing I'd like to see from the Axis, on the banks there's a particular house and shack. I think it's actually a shack with a couple of like storage wood boxes. That's a fantastic place for them to put their medium, build some rep stations, make that tank invincible, and just absolutely decimate across the river if they can do it. But we'll see what they do here, and looks like we got some rocket snipes coming in.
We do. It's a very wide map with lots of open lanes, so not a lot of clearly identifiable snipe spots, but we do see the ROFS coming in very strong. Down this road, we have another one of their trucks running map edge, dropping off a support in SL to get a quick garrison up. And we see 3-5 now pushing across this water, moving to this peninsula area, and going to try to establish themselves over here. Map edge gets here first for the 3-5 Marines, and they are in a prime position to win this battle off the rip using this high ground. So let's jump in with these guys here and see what they can do. Tough position for ROFS to be in over here, playing uphill. With a really nice opener, considering the fact that they had to navigate the waterway here. Most of ROF's push now coming from where that area where they had those two trucks.
For ROFS, that house behind the trees right there where Duty is sitting at, that's going to be absolutely imperative for them to hold on to if they're going to, whether they're attacking or defending if they get the cap here. That house is absolutely key to controlling that little side of the gun place.
Agreed. It's one of the only respites of cover that they have, but we're seeing here the classic P2 versus Stewart battle, but the big brother P4 is about to come in and end that one. Is that a Stewart? I imagine so. Oh well, it's not a Stewart because they're not the Germans, but or the Americans. Let's see, I'm still adjusting to the British here, but that's the British light tank.
I will be honest, as we speak, I'm literally pulling up pictures. Do not have the experience with the Brits that I would like to have.
No, I'm totally on the same page as you. ROFS making it interesting, getting some cap pressure stalls. Muss being able to get a rocket into this grouping of 3-5.
ROFS is also getting the disadvantage with the fact that their second point is offset in the middle of the map, where 3-5 is just going to be able to push straight across the river and defend while with their push basically at the same time.
Yeah, that's always a factor to consider on this one. I just wonder if that we haven't played enough Remagen games to really see it, or not Remagen, Driel games to see it this often, but how much the water plays a factor in, even though it's straight on, it might still be difficult because of that water. But Raccoon onto the strong point for ROFS. ROFS were having cap pressure into their favor for just a moment there, starting to win the battle of the map edge, even with this tank here by 3-5.
I was wondering when 3-5 was gonna bring an engineer up and try to keep that medium alive. I really would be. You saw it in the championship match where both Taco and Six, they both had double engineer stacks on top of the tank, just torching away, trying to do whatever they could to keep it alive.
And if you're an up-and-coming team and, you're wondering the difference, how to get to that next level, that's something to really consider is the repair stations and the way that the teams on this level of play use every single thing that they can to their advantage. But we see Burnt Toast, not Burnt Toast, we can't say that on stream, but he's Australian, so it's less offensive. But that Piat for the British is something that is also kind of overlooked. You can put an insane amount of fire out, but look at this. the medium goes down to the other medium. I'm not sure how we got a sight line on him, but really well played by ROFS there. But yeah,
I'm kind of curious if we have some armor on the bridge that does take hitting that elevation to really fire down into gun emplacements. They could even have an AT gun for all we know that's back there on the opposite side of the river.
Right. Yeah, right, absolutely. But this Lux now being the linchpin of this map edge, as ROFS starting to make a play into the strong point. Playing this really well, ROFS is right now. But the Piat has the same properties as the Panzerstrike, except you can reload it like instantly. So we have this recon tank that's causing some trouble as well for 3-5, kind of looking down this embankment and preventing any sort of reinforcement to the point. As we approach 10 minutes of mid-cap here, still undecided as you would expect on a game of this level. These two championship caliber teams duking it out here on Driel.
That recon tank, the Daimler, that's one of my favorite recon tanks. Well, it is my favorite recon tank, I should say, because it's just so quick and nimble. But the fact that 3-5 hasn't responded to that, I don't believe yet, is that needs to happen as soon as possible.
Yeah, and we're seeing another flamethrower appearance. I think, like, honestly, the flamethrower might be viable in these competitive matches. We saw it earlier in D1 where someone on the 6th used it to incredible effect to kind of make sure that they couldn't peek a corner and allowing his engineers to get satchels down on the wall where Taco was on the other side. Really good use case for it.
Yeah, I believe you're talking about that's the hedgerows opposite of the road from Pizza Slice. That was a fantastic play.
Yeah.
And you know, like you said, the flamethrower with the extended range after the last update, as you stated, it's starting to be more viable in competitive settings, depending on what you're doing.
But ROFS playing super strong here now into the hard cab. 3-5 being pushed back to the other side of this hedge, but now slowly making their way back over the top. We see our first bombing run come in. This is a ROFS bombing run. It looks like it's going to be quite effective at mopping up a lot of 3-5. Really effective bombing run by the ROFS commander. Really well done. Now we see another bombing run coming in by 3-5.
I would have put that right over gun emplacements. Let's see if we get enough.
It's pretty good. It
Just
does allow all these guys to push out. You're seeing them, they were just wiped a moment ago, and already kind of back into the strong point. We have Vader, Voss, Shuffles, Fat Hawk, who gets exploded. Egbert over here. Brian against Elidos, Duty, Dingo. Big OP spawn by Pookie over there.
You just mentioned Shuffles and Fat Hog, and those two guys. They actually used to be when they were in BZRK. They were frontline, so they are absolutely experienced in just right up the gut. McMillan as well. He's a fantastic team player, but the experience that they have with frontline guys that just know how to deal with the absolute chaos that comes with playing up the gut meat grind. That's really good for 3-5 to have.
Yeah, and McMillan over here, you mentioned him. I don't know if he was able to get this OP by Pookie over here. The way that Pookie's playing makes me think that maybe he did. Looks like a squad leader who is trying to preserve his life, but going down there to Reaper, and now 3-5 with the momentum. Taking it the other way. 13 minutes of mid-cap, and a clear winner has really not emerged once.
This is the same exact thing. I mean, absolutely fantastic championship matches between the Div 1 and Div 2 starts. This absolute slog. I'm real curious. I mean, it seems like nobody is gaining, but nobody's losing ground all at the same time.
Yeah.
And they get 5 feet, and then they get pushed back, and I'm thoroughly enjoying watching this play out.
Yeah, the ebbs and flows of battle here have been very, very intense either way for these teams. Both commanders using all the abilities at their disposal to kind of give them the edge, but 3-5 having the edge right now. Just when it looked like ROFS was gonna really have control, 3-5 able to muster up the will and to get over this burn. Big plays.
So this next piece of advice would go really for either side. When you get into such a dead heat like this, this is what as a commander, I would be calling into Red Chat right now, asking the guys to, if they come off their OPs, that they just start chucking smokes.
Right.
Chuck smokes, chuck grenades, anything to really cause chaos for the other side. Especially if you happen to throw a grenade and it bounces into an OP. I mean, that could literally be the turning point. Is you happen to get an OP, or maybe even 2 OPs that matter the most, and you get control.
Oh,
Is that
an
an
early
airhead
airhead for 3-5, I believe. Yeah, early airhead for 3-5, using it to bolster their cap here. I kind of like it. I mean, you gotta try something to break the stalemate here and take advantage of this little bit of momentum that you're carrying right now. So I don't hate it. This artillery landing right on it is going to make whoever spawns on that perhaps not have a great time. But as far as...
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, as far as bolstering the cap, it's a very, interesting tactic. What were you going to say as a commander?
Yep, so, I mean, first of all, fantastic place to put it. They have a nice little buffer of guys that are in front of it to try to keep any infantry from throwing a grenade on it. Yeah, they're probably going to lose some guys, to artillery, but really all it is, oh, is that another one?
Yeah, that's a ROFS airhead.
Yep, and same thing with them. They literally put it right into their guys. That's going to give them the additional cap weight here. Hopefully they'll be able to actually recap off of it. Correction, if 3-5 caps here, that airhead will disappear.
Correct.
So they need to get this contested as soon as possible, or else that manpower just got absolutely wasted.
Yeah, interesting choice there. I wonder if maybe they meant to use that after the cap, but look at this. Little contest comes on there for a moment, but 3-5 looks like they burnt enough outposts to kind of push ROFS back to the following line, and the cap goes to 3-5 here. 3-5 with the early cap. Let's take a quick peek at the map. Full garrison layout across the map by 3-5, and look at this line of infantry. Already kind of set up nicely here on the flanks. We'll fly over there in a moment, but for now, it's going to be the battle of this airhead. Well, the airhead's gone, but the battle of the squads who were able to get over here. And now this is a tough stalemate to break for ROFS.
Well, and this is, in my opinion, it's really we're gonna see in the next 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes or so, with that armor, advantage. Not really advantage because of how rough the British armor is. The fact
Right.
that 2 heavies on the map. I'm real curious to see what ROFS does to respond with those armor crews.
And this is interesting. Rum taking out what looks like 3 guys on the bridge here. And Rum and the ROFS boys are in a really nice spot where they can kind of cut 3-5 in half and set up a nice crossfire over here from the bridge. Allied MG is obviously not great, but it does offer you some suppressive fire ability.
Yeah, I'm an absolute firm believer. I said this in the first stream with Smithers this morning, but when we played Merc on Purple Heart Lane, we had 5 or 6 MGs up at pretty much all times,
Yeah.
and we ended up with like 75,000 plus rounds, absolutely spraying. If you can use that suppression advantage for the guys that are actually fighting on the front line, I mean, if you're under that blurry screen, 9 times out of 10 you're going to lose that gunfight. So hopefully ROFS takes advantage of that height that the bridge provides to spray down into gun emplacements.
And in these types of games, it's those little things like being suppressed that will win a gunfight. Like everyone is playing at the same level here, and his Comet just annihilates two guys with that RD shell, correctly kind of pointing out where the enemy team is. So Comet's instincts are on point here on the artillery gun for 3-5. I did see 3-5 here make a little push across this field, but looks like it was saved by ROFS before they were able to take out any OPs. But I mean, this is not an enviable push for Taco, Flare Daddy, and Burnt over here. It's pretty much uphill across a field, and you're gonna have a bad time. Shuffles here though, in a nice spot where maybe he can take out an OP or two. Will Dingo be able to see him with that sniper though? Does see him. Goes down, spotted out by Dingo. So, Osiris, why don't we take a look at some stats really quick, just get an idea of where these teams are at in terms of their numbers right now. So we have Egbert actually number 1 with, or maybe we didn't get an update here out of these stats, so maybe we'll hold off on.
I was literally about to send you a message on Discord. I was peeking at the stats, and it looks like only Egbert is the only one that's really counting for some reason.
Shout out to you, Egbert. You're the one whose stats are counting here, but we'll see if we could get that fixed up, or if it starts to update. It seemed like it was a little late to update the scoreboard, so we'll see there. But ROFS still making a nice push along this road, but to your earlier point, Egbert and Killer Kyle, War Daddy over here, gonna make life very difficult, especially War Daddy with that FG-42 sniper. This is prime territory for him right there, in the bush, kind of invisible to all, but all visible to him. Take a peek at the map here again. Still really great map control by 3-5 around the strong point. Working on controlling more of this area here where they're isolating ROFS with flares. So let's join this fight over here. Says now it seems like 3-5 has a little momentum over here, and if they can establish a crossfire on ROFS, it'll be just as effective as it would be for ROFS to do it on 3-5, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, with 3-5, I mean, using that height advantage from the bridge, I mean, not that you ever want to not have control of, the entire map and whatnot, but I mean, even if you were to lose control of brickyards, having the guys posted up on top of this bridge, and you're trying to cross all that open ground where you see EDI-4 running right now, like if you're coming as the British from that side, it's just an absolute turkey shoot. But you do see ROFS trying to try to provide some commitment. Part of that is because of the fact that their points are offset, so they're going to have to try to hold somewhat of a line facing brickyards if they can.
And these two teams met in the regular season, and it was on Saint-Marie Dumont with Pierre's Farm as the middle point there, and we saw quite a few midpoint exchanges in that match. 3-5 coming out on top of that one with a victory, but so you can't count ROFS out here. It's obviously a tough situation to be in as the allied British team here, pushing the areas that they need to push, but ROFS 100% capable of it, and they're here for a reason. They are a championship caliber team. These are two top 8 clans in the entire console scene, so anything could happen when two great teams get together. Kenny Boy taking Knox out here, McMillan holding this critical ground, but I think Kenny just looking for their outpost. Skeeter and Killer spawn. Killer goes down, but Skeeter able to take him out, ending that scare.
looking at being that the points are offset. If I were ROFS, I would probably try to park a heavy up on railway itself, with those rep stations that I had mentioned previously, and just anything to try to neutralize the elevation advantage that 3-5 is going to have at the base of the bridge that overlooks both brickyards and gun emplacements.
Ooh, and that's a big kill by Joker on Sugats over here. He was gonna try to take out this Lux over here. Between this Lux and Carson on the MG, it's forcing ROFS to play on either side of the road. What do we have here in the Lux for 3-5? Can I see? Oh, is no one in the Lux? No one is in the Lux. Okay.
That's okay. We got no one in the Lux.
Maybe the crew got killed out of it. I'm not sure, but it's the abandoned Lux. Carson's filling in just fine with that MG, but starting to get run up on by Rum and his squad. Joining back over here on more of the sort of meat grind area. Voss going to use that STG to great advantage in this sort of territory, taking out Digital right away, but that Tommy gun is great too by the British. The drum mag Tommy is one of the best weapons in the game.
Oh, absolutely agree. I mean, it's not the Tommy that we had before the update when you could shoot someone from 100 yards by any means, but it definitely is with that foregrip. It's just an absolute laser. I mean, in my opinion, it's a PPSH with more accuracy and more power. I mean, it's just absolutely brutal to deal with.
And we see, I would love to see that as Assault 9 for the US, get that version of the Tommy. That'd probably be too good though, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what happens with these updates and stuff, I mean, I don't know if anyone that's watching has taken a look at the roadmap. I'm actually pretty excited. There's going to be a couple of different balancing things going on, armor mechanic updates and things like that. But one thing I would like to see is
Vegan 2 kills on the OP takedown with the Bren. Sorry to interrupt you with that, but that was
Nope.
that was a hell of a play as he continues up here. I think both these guys using the Bren. Brian, though, able to take out one. 3-5's
I might be on the short side of this stick, but I actually don't mind a lot of the British weapons. I mean, the jungle gun is atrocious in my opinion. The one with the upside down magazine. But other than that, like, I actually enjoy it. So being that we don't really see the British, I'm hoping that ROFS really put in the time to get familiar with the guns and just spent the last week and a half, 2 weeks just going absolutely crazy in whether it be pub lobbies or scrim matches and things like that, just trying to get a good feel for how these guns behave.
Right, and if I know Rum, he's definitely making sure that his team was prepped and knowing the intricacies of the British, because it's again not something that the people in this competitive scene typically play. You see Utah, Omaha, San Marie Dumont, San Marie Glaze a million times, but getting Driel in the finals is certainly a little bit of a zag when maybe one team was expecting a zig here. Kind of a nice push here by 3-5 on this meat grind. Raccoon using that Egbert stop, drop, and roll.
Looks like we just lost a tank back there by Whispers of Death. They fired top left.
Yeah, I see that. Who was this tank that they lost? Oh, just an AT gun. Still,
Correction.
that's a good spot for the AT gun though. I do like that. We haven't seen much in the ways of heavies up on this side of the river for 3-5.
No, I'm actually really curious for.
Yeah, here we are over here playing map edge. So, Tiger playing pretty safe, looking down the embankment. Stop anything from getting behind them. Do we have another tiger? Looks like just the one right now. A medium is going behind ROFS over here. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, if we're able to try to quickly locate where these armor guys are at, for ROFS, I'm real curious. I'm thinking that the medium is gonna find himself a nice place to just park it and wait for his opportunity to shine.
I think here we are.
Gonna get.
Yeah. Get Guskit, entice, let gone.
That medium must have got spotted for them to be hauling backwards like that.
Right.
They're gonna go deal with that medium here shortly.
Push up here by ROFS, or I'm sorry, by 3-5, able to kind of cross over here and put these OPs in danger, but Big Red Donut all over it.
No, it's fantastic defense by 3-5. So, you know, getting them to this side, you know, this side of the fields, and then now having, you know, from gun emplacements, it's going to be real hard to cross that. So your real other option would be the tree line there at the top of the screen, and they have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 guys really looking in that area for, you know, waiting for ROFS to try to come out from that tree line that they're hiding behind, and it's just, you know, they're doing a great job at just kind of keeping them corralled on the opposite side of this embankment.
More flamethrower action by Falsey, but we see where Wicked is over here is a OP, so let's see if Vegan is able to take that down. He goes down himself, so that's an OP that is maintained by Murphy. Let's see if No Comms is able to finish the job. Taking the slow, methodical approach, crawling his way. Murphy sees through that smoke and takes him out.
And this goes right back into the grenades. Throw grenades. You know, that is
Right.
that those OPs are clearly within grenade distance, and you know, I would absolutely be just abusing it. You know, dropping support explosive boxes, even rifleman explosive boxes, anything to just really be able to throw grenades over the small little hill here behind the opposite tree line. I mean, like I said, whichever side it is, doesn't matter. They're fighting so close that they could really do some damage with any sort of frags.
This reinforcements over here on the edge of this line by 3-5, big to avoid a little bit of a disaster as ROFS were pushing up there, and if they were able to get the crossfire, Murphy and Wicked might not be able to do what they're doing over here. We do peek over here with Wicked. He's making a solid push in, but one more berm to cover. Takes out Big Red. Takes out an OP. Spawns anyway. Must able to take him out, but not the squad leader, so that squad is out of commission for a little bit now.
You know, I think Rietman up there at the MG, he can actually peek over the top of that little small berm. So I think I just watched him laser a guy in the little ditch there with the tall grass. So he's got a fantastic vantage point. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually gets Muss here shortly if he can spot him. Never mind, as I speak, the OP comes up and.
What's going on here? No one can see each other, I think.
Wicked doesn't know.
I mean, he knows someone's there, just doesn't know where. Moss gets a reload in. You can see just how close he is to this outpost. Like, probably, if he goes just a little further to the west.
And he's he's looking east. Like, 10 more feet, man. 10 more feet.
It's always tough when. See if Bergs, is he gonna be able to save the outpost? He's not, but does avenge him. But now we're seeing 3-5 starting to wrap around ROFS here and kind of corral them into this pocket on the side of the map. If we get a MG up, which again it'll be MG42, so that would be a big play here on this fence line here. I mean, you're probably going to die a couple times doing it, but you can do a lot of damage here. We saw a P-Strike go down, and it does get the Tiger. So Flare Daddy and Bob the Builder with incredible reconnaissance on the point here, and give that kill to Flare Daddy over there, calling in that P-Strike. Well done.
I would really love to see one thing that I think the devs really need to do is that if you're shooting flares, that needs to be some sort of more beneficial to, you know, not that we've all been playing this game so long that XP doesn't really matter, but you know, it would be nice to have guys that do flare so much get some sort of recognition from the game itself, because it is by far, you know, I would say there's 5 broken mechanics, and recon flare spamming is one of them.
Yeah.
On top of, you know, rep stations, MG suppression. I'm probably forgetting a couple others, but you know, definitely a fantastic job by ROFS recon to really set up that P-Strike.
Yeah, I thought for a second there you were going to say that they need to make flares more powerful, and you were about to have a lot of angry comments about that one, because I think flares, you know, like you said, one of the most broken things in the game. It, unfortunately, the benefits that Recon got with not having to camp Artie anymore is now that just means that both spotters get the flare all the time, and you know, it's a thankless job, but it's one of the most important things you can do for your team is to be on point with flare. So guys at home, drop an ammo box for your flare guy, you know, save him 20 seconds. It's a thankless job. He'll thank you for that, though.
I will at least take the hot take here, and I think every spotter should at least start with 2 flares, you know, just that way, you know, like you said, it's a thankless job, and I hate having to go into red chat as commander and be like, hey man, can you stop everything that you're doing and please redeploy to the defensive garrison just to shoot flares up in the sky and then redeploy again. You know, shout out to my boy Kaz. I think one match he had like 50 some flares. Oh. And that was before we started doing like the explosive ammo drop boxes. I mean, it
yeah,
was really just
it's a lot of redeploying.
Yep.
But this is the first time that we've kind of seen 3-5 able to break through on this meat grind and get into a spot where they can feasibly attack South Railway. We have Joker, Carson, Fubar, Killer Kyle all moving in close. And then further away you see Egbert, War Daddy, Reaper, and Voss kind of sweeping their way down. And with Psych going
I'll
down.
throw this out there.
Look at this. This is just what the doctor ordered for ROFS, honestly. This little bit of cap pressure should be enough to kind of get some of these 3-5 guys back over here. And let's see if they can't make it a better situation than that even.
Yeah. No, as a commander, I typically would have my what I call flex guys. I'd be like, hey, flex, I need you to redeploy right now. And basically, as soon as the cap weight starts ticking, and if they can't recover with that by right about now, 1/3 of the way into the cap, then I'd be calling additional resets. They do have a Tiger there, though. I'm not sure why. They're not just rolling that into the point, or at least using HE shells. I mean, they have a perfect shot into those trench networks right there that they could absolutely do some damage with.
Airhead coming in by ROFS as well. What I'm wondering here is if this is a recon outpost that these guys are all spawning off of, because I've not seen the spotter. I see the sniper. I know that the spotter was over here. I'm wondering if they're using, loading up that recon OPs, because it's all riflemen over here as well. Something to think about, but does look like that pressure is avoided a little bit, getting another Tiger back up on point. But if we look over here, you can definitely see the effect that that had on 3-5, forcing them to pull back a little bit and allowing ROFS to kind of get back to where they were once before and get a little bit more breathing room. Ooh, look at this. Tiger taking a shot, but taking out the... Was this another AT gun? No, that is a heavy tank. Oh, goodness. That is a big kill.
Yeah, and once again, just, you know, no rep stations nearby. I mean, I'm not sure if that was the best area for that heavy to be sitting at, but, you know, you really... With how much this map is open, I mean, tank advantage is going to be absolutely detrimental. And I know that they can spawn 2 tanks for ROFS, but you know, at that point, you're just burning through fuel if you're not taking care of your armor when you can spawn those 2 tanks.
And this was a big play here that 3-5 made in the interim, was getting over here and kind of clearing out some of these OPs that they had. And we'll see how this enables 3-5 to kind of cut across this field and then push on towards South Railway. But Voss fighting a difficult battle over here, but winning his gunfights. Big plays over here by Voss. We'll see if he is near a garrison. It looks like there's a box here, so once he sees how many are in there, he'll be able to... Yep, and there's the garrison. Voss is going to know about it, but they know about Voss. Ultimately, they take him out.
And there goes ROFS again. Like I said, you know, when you lose control of that field, especially the fact that now 3-5 has pushed up and over the berm, your real only attack lane from this side is going to be through this little tree line here with the road and the ditch. So and that would go right back into tying it in with a heavy maybe back up there on railway to really, you know, just you put HE rounds right in front of your guys and you just walk them forward. Maybe even tie that in with RD2 so that way you can get a double effect of just absolutely clearing the way for your frontline infantry to really try to get some pressure onto gun emplacements.
Yeah, and ROFS looks like they're trying to recommit to this area where they have a little bit more cover. 3-5 was absent here a moment ago, but I think they were quick to adjust there on a flare that they were able to get. But again, this front door pressure mounting once more for 3-5.
Especially, they got EDI4, who is a fantastic sniper. I have had the pleasure of playing with him and the displeasure of playing against him. And they also have Fubar up here, which, you know, he's also one of my old guys, but he is one of the better gunfighters in the comp scene.
Right.
And once again, we call it the Foo God. I mean, that guy, you could come off a hedgerow right behind him and your entire squad will die, and then there he goes, just running across an open field like nothing matters. So real curious to see what kind of damage that he can do. He's got Chaos as well, who's another great squad player to really support this frontline push as he takes a rocket to the face though from Silky.
Tau in a nice spot, taking the flank of ROFS here. We hear a tank over here by ROFS as well. That's another heavy tank for them. So we'll see if maybe Fubar is, can use that luck that you were talking about and make his way up to this tank. I'm sure he's got a satchel here. Might hear Psych running up on him. Psych might have heard him. Oh, goodness.
Yep.
Farms the Gary, but Psych not able to get through.
Oh.
Psych is...
Does he get it? Does he get it?
Oh, he does.
Oh, he saw Chaos first, and so he...
Oh, goodness. What a play there by Fubar. Able to take out the garrison. Psych just a moment late And that is a big play because that is going to mean that the next garrison for ROFS on point here is behind it. So potential for a lot of ground to be taken by 3-5. Let's check out this little meat grind area over here again with Raccoon, Kenny Boy, Dingo. Carson's been Johnny on the spot with this MG all game. And Gentle has been playing gun emplacements, point defense very effectively as well.
Yeah. And I love that they got a recon guy back here as well. You know, if you're going to be using those flares, clearing out your defensive sector by knowing exactly where these guys are at when the flare pops, that should really help them out. But both go down, and now they got a couple guys. Oh, here comes the Tiger though to kind of provide some extra support.
You know, Raccoon's done a really good job this game as well of kind of finding his way into the strong point, kind of like a real Raccoon, where you just all of a sudden he's in your garbage can. But going down there is Raccoon.
.3-5 playing really defensive with their armor, which is perfectly fine in my opinion. And you know, they are in the cap weight cap sector, so it's not like they're too far out of the way. But you know, keeping your tanks alive, in my opinion, is probably the most important aspect of the game. And so these guys doing a great job of using the steep embankment to move where they need to move. You know, retreat.
Pop up somewhere where maybe the other tanks aren't expecting. If they get good intel from their squad mates, then, you know, potential to really use that and pop up somewhere unexpected. But to your point, this is the finals. You know, this is the last game of the season. It's a long off season until I believe it's like September when season 2 will start. Obviously, there's a summit that's going to be taking between and a host of other sort of competitive tournaments that both these teams are taking part in to keep them fresh. But a championship is on the line here, and in 45 minutes, you know, whoever's holding mid is going to be that champion. So there's no reason to knock 3-5 for playing a little bit more conservatively here. They hold the cards, and they can play them as they choose right now in the position that they're in.
Absolutely. No, some people get a little upset. They call it turtling or whatever you want to call it. And, you know, in the end, like I said, this is the championship game. You know, when Taco was playing 6 earlier today, you know, I made the same comment. It's like, you know, if you have control in the championship, like, you know, I would hate for you to make an overzealous call that would come back to bite you and you know, cause you to lose mid, especially, you know, in the back half of the game where things get a little bit more desperate.
We're seeing a lot of SGM tags before people's names, obviously honoring role that we talked about earlier. Really good to see this team rallying behind each other in, you know, and obviously a tragic time. But best thing that they can do here is just hold on for another 43 minutes. And finally, Fat Hog was able to find this outpost here that was really causing some, or maybe he wasn't. Oh, he was. He had the grenade on it. So well played there by Fat Hog, able to take that outpost out. And that'll end a little bit of the drama that we've been seeing over here.
Fat Hog he's got 3+ seasons, plus Summit, plus, I mean, that guy's been around for quite some time. So, you know, the experience is in my opinion, is really starting to show with Gentle being, you know, he's set up a great culture in 3-5, but also having the experienced players to kind of spread responsibility and stuff. Blue Chew's he's a great SL as well. Just really, you know, I guess it really shows the fact that having SLs who understand the game, understand the ebbs and flows of battle, you know, reading maps, things like that, doing all the other stuff that, you know, maybe gunfighters don't really think about. So, you know, kudos to Gentle for forming up a crew that can really get control and maintain control and adjust manpower as needed.
Right, and we're seeing ROFS now really kind of solidifying their defense more. I think that this OP that they had earlier kind of pulled back enough people to give them a little bit of more room over there, but so we're kind of seeing them start to wrap around a little bit on the bridge side of things. On the map edge side, again, we're kind of into this stalemate. I would say 3-5 narrowly winning the stalemate, just by virtue of being up here by these trees at all. But still, it's not really a spot where 3-5 can take the next step and think about crossing this field over here, because that's just, you know, that's suicide essentially.
Yeah, and this is, you know, if you're not gonna, if you kind of at this juncture right here for Ross, I would love to see some MG guys set up on the opposite ridge, and just spraying just to keep them pinned down, and then that way ROFS can go ahead and, instead of, you know, throwing so many guys at this, you know, this really tough push, they can just lock down that field and then adjust their manpower to try to. I mean, I'd probably try to take care of bridge and get control of that first, because if you get control of bridge, then now you have crossfire into this main tree line that I've been talking about with this road next to it as well.
Taking a look at the map here, we're seeing 3-5 really kind of still solid around the point here, just getting up another garrison on that front line meat grind sort of area, looking to kind of clear out this way, it would seem. We do see a garrison going hot over here on this island. I'm not sure. Oh, it's Mr. Sirloin. Sees the garrison and is going to go for the takedown here. Very slow going in this water. Able to get on that garrison. He will take that out.
Yeah, but so this is where if you're doing some sneaky stuff like this, I actually would have probably told Sirloin to just leave it alone. I mean, the tank was looking the opposite direction originally, and you know, with him, he could have potentially came up behind it if he would have left that garrison alone. But going up to the garrison, you basically just activated the radar, so to speak, which the heavy immediately responded to.
Yeah, and I think that the rationale there, assuming he had rockets at least, is that he could get 2 rockets into the Tiger, and that really doesn't do much considering the team around, you know, there's really no one else around here to finish it off. But he can get the garrison for sure, and if that's going to pull people back to, you know, think that there might be something more to that, then that's a good trade. So that would be my mentality if I was there with rockets, but Forge,
yeah, I'm not sure if he had rockets, because I mean, if you would have had rockets, I mean, if I was the AT with rockets, I probably just would have sniped that garrison and kept it moving. But you know, either way, you make very valid points. You know, that's what I love about this game, is that, you know, there's you know, so many different ways that you can try to play and really do things unexpectedly that maybe the other side wouldn't be you know, thinking about and stuff like that. So, you know, great points by you, Caparzo, you know, in regards to if he had 2 rockets, I mean, what's he going to do besides just damage the tank?
And that was a really great macro battle that we just saw there, between this OP here with Gaza and Big Red, and Forge just laying down the fire with that MG42, making this a not fun place to be. Now Brian gonna close the loop on Big Red and end that squad's frontline experience there for the moment. Really good adjustment there by 3-5, and I want to give a shout out to Forge there. That's like nitty gritty, dirty work to do, being the MG, kind of being forced to sit still and die a million times while everyone runs out in front of you. But you can see just how valuable that was to that push. Got a little bit of a light tank action here, a bit of a dive.
Oh, he's gonna run right up into this. Right up into this heavy.
It's gonna be a little sneaky.
Oh, heavy tank doesn't see him.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there we go.
Well, you know, we all love an underdog battle, but I wouldn't be placing my bet on that one.
No, I mean honestly, I probably would have picked off that rep station that he drove right by. I mean, you know, when you get spotted by a heavy tank, your heart just starts racing. So
Just take
all
whatever
thought
I
goes
could
out
get
the-
on my way down.
Yeah.
Just start grabbing onto things. .35 looking content just to kind of hold this hedge line, which I totally understand, and I probably would, if I was scouting this map beforehand and I was going through my paces for the point here, that would certainly be on my mind to saying, hey guys, if we get up to here, you know, build just like a stupid garrison even like on the map edge here, just to like get people over here as we need them, and just MGs, where the Germans use MG42, it's like our biggest advantage. And this is going to be a spot where you're going to know ROFS is going to want to be. And if you could just make that an unpleasant experience and get some, you know, morale victories, that does matter in a game like Hell Let Loose. You know, when you prep and you're looking at everything as dots on maps and, you know, arrows and everything like that, it's easy to lose just like the morale part of the game, where like if your guy is getting artilleried like every time he spawns in, the life that they don't get artillery, they're probably, you know, not playing as effective as they'd like to be. So always something I think about of you know, that frustration.
There's another garrison push by Ross, just trying to really get control of this tree line here. But now we have a tank that is now providing crossfire into this area. That's gonna be a real tough run-in by Ross. But let's see what they can do here.
Voss also just got down a buildable, building a bunker over there, and I think that's something we're going to start seeing more of, is buildables in these games. And you know, we see it to an extent now, but I think as the game goes on, like it seems like each season a new tool starts getting used. Obviously recently the biggest thing has been repair stations and, you know, just admin cam and everything in general, just being able to prep. For snipes is probably this season is the big trend, but I think next season you'll see buildables get used a lot more, and, you know, combining the different elements of this game to build the strongest team and give yourself the best chance.
Yeah, you can see it a lot in the PC side, of course, but now starting to leak into Division 1, where you're seeing tank stilts and using Belgian gates to, you know, get elevation up and over a hedgerow, getting on top of roofs that you normally couldn't be able to get on top of, to really get additional sight lines for your MG players and your armor guys.
Is that another heavy taken out by a P-strike? It is. Oh my goodness, ROFS. Oh.
I don't think I've ever seen 2 P-strikes in one game that's actually been successful. So shout out to ROFS Commander on that.
That's incredible.
I mean, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
I'm scared to play ROFS after they make the precision strike adjustments, assuming that's going to be a buff. But my goodness, ROFS Commander, a sniper with that thing.
Yeah, I'm from a commander's perspective. I'm really hoping that, you know, they increase the blast radius just by a hair. I mean, not a whole lot, but I would really like to see that 25-minute timer come down to, I don't know, say 15 minutes. You know, I think 250 for the munitions for it is good. But yeah, definitely needs a little bit of buff. But if that's the case, and like you said, you know, real terrifying if ROFS Commander is going to be on the other side.
Yeah.
If you're in armor.
Putting the precision strike. But 3-5, able to take out this OP with a grenade just earlier. Wave does come off, just juicy. Still live here. We do see a tank engagement. Is this a garrison as well? I think it is, yeah. So we'll see Irish, see if we can deal with that. This tank engagement, one shell comes in short. Irish is going to take down that garrison, open up this front line for 3-5. Now, let's actually jump over here because Wicked.
Yep.
What?
Oh no!
What? Wicked just says,
No.
I'm out of here. Like, I know he probably redeployed, but it'd be just as valid if he left the game after that. Oh my goodness, how?
That is really unfortunate because that tank was hurt. So it
Yeah, that
potentially
probably
only
kills
needed
it.
One
Yeah.
more rocket.
That's crazy. But
Do they have
bullets.
rep stations in that area? I mean, I see no comms. So do they have a rep station that they can just pull up to, or are they all jumping out here to repair it?
I don't see. Oh, over there. Yeah, it looks like they have a couple. Or one. So tank is still in the game. Gonna peek somewhere else, I think now. But if we look off in the distance, you can see the Tiger. That's still kind of playing that map edge at the top left side of your screen, sort of. But this is something that we've seen a little bit, and I've definitely picked up on in the playoffs, is having a commander back in the truck just to drop supplies to make it so that you can just build rep stations like crazy. I've seen that become a lot more common. Taco did it earlier today to great effect in the wheat field on the north side. So interesting to see. But look at this spawn wave here. Oh my goodness, Comet. Why you gotta do them like that? Big arty splash. 4-3-5, but must be a Gary around here for ROFS to have such big spawn waves. We have our gammon bomb noises, the coolest sound in this game.
Yeah, with Comet, I mean, he's clearly a little busy right now, helping out on defense. But if he can if there's a breath, that little quick 2-minute breath, if he can adjust fire to those rep stations on the other side of that hill. That would be a big blow to ROFS, especially because you get guys to come back and build them, and then they have to go off and do their gunfighting, and then all of a sudden you're having 2-3 engineers come back to have to rebuild them all over again, plus have them run supplies, and it's just the little things that really matter when it comes to these 90-minute slogs between two equally talented teams.
Yeah, and I think Comet is content just to let him keep fly over here on this front line, just delaying action to ROFS. But in that time, ROFS making a big push across here. See if they're able to get over here. 3-5 so fast on the manpower swap over here now. Now this is a great artillery by 3-5 or by ROFS as well over there. That's very, very intelligent artillery to give your guys a chance over here. I would love to have seen even a level 3 bunker over here on this berm by 3-5 would be very powerful. A level 1 bunker even be just fine.
Yeah. Good call on you, though. It looks like they do have a garrison potentially back there that, you said, hey, I just threw a garrison up here and just for something for guys to come off of.
Yeah.
And there it is again. So good call, Caparzo. So is that it right there?
Yeah, it's a garrison of luxury rather than a garrison of necessity. Like, if your guys win this fight and they get over here, like, whatever if you lose it. Like, if you get even one wave off of it and it's a wave that you just need to bolster this fight, like right now, like if there's a wave that comes off of this and it's enough to kill these guys, then it doesn't matter if the garrison dies right afterwards. Obviously they're getting artillery, and that's not fun, but in one-man artillery, when I die to artillery, if I'm the only one getting artillery, I'm like, whatever, because, oh, look at that. See, Brian saves the garrison there. It's probably going to go down here, but if I'm the one getting artillery, that means that there's 48 other people not getting artillery, and, I don't think that highly of myself that I'm going to be changing anything just as one guy on a 49-man team, but...
Yeah, and that's something that you see from the best of the best when it comes to the hardy guys is they'll launch a couple of shells into an area, and as soon as they see only like one or two, they'll actually you'll see them adjust fire, kind of basically fishing. They see one kill, they see 2 kills, and all of a sudden they see 4 kills. And it's like, oh, like this might be an area that I need to be on. So I would expect ROFS to continue hammering that backside of the hill where Drugs and Guns and McMillan and Bergs are currently sitting at.
Yeah, especially that it's allowing their team to kind of push up here again a little bit. But the battle mostly intensifying now on this forward meat grind. Towards the attacking point, I do want to kind of look over here momentarily. Looking solid for ROFS still. You know, it's kind of just like trading out and, you know, stalemating, which is really all they have to do while these guys work on winning their battles. But we do have a few guys over here still. Kind of curious of what the intention is here long term. They have 2 ATs. Wonder what exactly their, you know, assignments were before this game.
Yeah, and if I'm a squad like Fat Hog right there, you know, if I'm him, I'm relaying the command right now that hey, we are, you know, there is a massive push, and you know, I don't know if 3-5 commander would then have those guys way out at Brickyard, you know, start to suck inwards, you know, defending 800 meters or so from gun emplacements. I mean, I know people don't like to get wrapped, but with that bridge there, not to mention the bridge, but you also got a squad back there that's providing oversight. You know, at that point, I would maybe start having them suck inwards, because we're literally watching it here in real time. That I mean, great response by 3-5 with the amount of people that are there. It seems like we got some more manpower coming in, but you know, it's if you lose this embankment and they can get control of that brick house, I mean, things could easily swing into ROF's favor.
And speaking of swinging into ROF's favor, Pookie able to get an OP over here in a really nice position. Nice trade there. Important trade, because Forge was probably going to just charge up into that trench and see what he can find. But right now, potential for a big OP spawn on Pookie's OP. We do have 2 Tigers over here, one on the map edge, one on this little peninsula. Here come the ROFS. Another big spawn wave by Pookie's OP over here. You see Ledford's OP as well on the other side. They did lose that garrison, but Ledford's OP keeping them in the game here.
Oh, what a fantastic bombing run! Just absolutely wiping that out. Now, Painter should be chasing that bombing run basically right now.
Here's the airhead by ROFS. I think they definitely saw it. I would believe so. You do see a little bit of cap pressure touching on South Railway. No one on this airhead yet. No one running towards it that I can see really either. So will this be a big one? I think we might see a big airhead wave.
Yeah. If I'm
there,
if
we
I'm
are,
ROFS,
and there's cap pressure.
ROFS, sorry about that. I was gonna say if I'm ROFS, I'd be smoking this hillside immediately.
Yeah, Fallsy. That's what he's doing, I'm sure, as the medic over here. Look at this Painter going down, and the airhead play working out for ROFS here. Mines paying dividends, but this Tiger gonna be the hard part.
I want to give a shout out here to ROFS. You know, instead of immediately pushing into the cap weight, they're all spreading out and trying to gain as much crossfire angles as they can, and doing whatever they can to not necessarily bunch up, because I'm expecting artillery to be landing on gun emplacements here shortly. So spreading out is absolutely key for ROFS here, and fantastic job with the smokes as well. Absolutely beautiful.
And I think that's big because SGM, a USA tank, was unable to see that airhead. But look at all this manpower here by ROFS. What a play! (3-5) readjusting their manpower onto defense here. We see all these guys collapsing here. this Tiger going to be so important to this defense. Both Tigers now pushing onto the top of this berm. Another airhead wave off for ROFS.
You know, we talked about morale here. To have 3 waves come off of an airhead that's pretty much on the front door and not really get any cap weight going is a bit demoralizing. I'm assuming if you were to open the map right now, there's probably a reinforced down.
You're right.
Yep,
Yeah.
reinforces down. So
And here comes a bombing run.
Textbook, absolutely textbook. I mean, a little slow on the response to the airhead, but either way, I mean, through the reinforced down and followed up with the bombing run. You know, it's really going to come down to if ROFS has any OPs that got down that people can portal to.
And we're seeing a lot of great AP mines set up here by, I'm sure it's a Gentle squad on point defense. Saw a couple of these ROFS guys that got the furthest into the point going down to AP mines, and, you know, talk about morale being hit right there. But Juicy's probably going to be able to get this satchel down. Oh, nope. Deathface says, let's go. Oh,
wow.
Saved by the other Tiger, I believe.
I believe they actually have a tank on bridge on the opposite side of the river that's also providing. Yep, there it is right there at the back side of the bridge. So yeah, that's very smart on their part. So they have a tank that, you know, maybe not doing as much you know, combat score as you would normally see, but to have 2 tanks on that embankment with a 3rd tank, you know, on the opposite side of the river providing overwatch for the 2 that are up there, that is fantastic strategy by 3-5.
And it's especially smart because of the next point being on the railway. Pretty much, if ROFS thinks of kind of bringing anything up the railway, that tank is already there and, you know, has Peeker's advantage. The Battle of the Bridge reigniting over here now.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, you know, ROFS with that airhead, I mean, they got plenty of time, you know, with the time that they called it at, which was about 25 minutes, for them to now take all that ground back. That potentially sets them up for, you know, a better fight over the last 20 minutes for gun emplacements.
We might see a tank battle here. You see that tank that we were talking about on the bridge now moving to engage this weakened, or previously weakened tank. I think it gets a little bit of rep station help. We might see a little close range tank engagement here.
Stop right there and hold the angle.
Ooh. Ricochet off the tank into the repair station. That's going to make this battle interesting.
Oh, now he's going to turn.
Yeah. Now's this Tiger's chance. Make your play.
And here it comes.
Oh, no pens. The heavy tank that could over here. Oh, going down finally to that bridge Tiger. What a play.
Yeah, when you have such a slow you know, turret turn with these heavies as the British, as the driver, you really got to, you know, tell your guy to keep the gun where it's at and then angle, you know, whether it's, you know, they always say, you know well, I'm gonna say back end to the rear. You know, that's you really, as a driver, you really gotta help out your gunner with that. I mean, but he was getting 2 tapped from both angles. I mean, that was a really rough way to go.
That tank on the point repaying the favor in distracting the tank on the bridge. So really good teamwork there by those Tigers. We see the stalemate continuing over here. 3-5 again starting to make a little bit more ground than they have thus far. I think ROFS had a little bit more of their manpower over the bridge in that moment, trying to defend their tank, but 3-5 taking advantage.
Do we have any 3-5 in it? No. I was trying to see if that maybe they were in a better spot to push. I mean, here they come down the bridge. It's going to take them a second, but with the fact that 3-5 is now pushing into the red on the eastern side of the map. This is where maybe you start getting a little bit more offensive with your artillery guy, and walking the advancing forces down the tracks. I mean, just go ahead and put it on the
really,
western side of that ridge. And
really
send
good
it.
snipe with that tank, noticing the OP spawn, taking that out over here by Killer Kyle. We have Raccoon taking out Kyle. Boss taking his spot. Look at this pretty big spawn wave on the garrison on point. I'm wondering how many garrisons that ROFS has with that amount of people spawning there. We see 3 squad leaders at least, 4 squad leaders, 5 squad leaders. So a lot of ROFS now forced back into the defensive side of things. Let's see if Fubar can take him on. Takes 2. Takes 3. Fubar. And then going down. I think Alpha Kilo might have gotten him.
So at this point, Ross is, I mean, just being frank here, is that we are starting to run out of time, and all those guys that you see on the right side of the screen at that house, at this point, I would actually suck them back into the second point and try to just create a barrier with gunfire, and allow the rest of the manpower to start pushing to the northeast from railway. Hopefully ROFS can get something together here shortly. I'm kind of curious to see how many tanks they have left. I haven't really seen a whole lot of them this entire game, minus a couple. But let's see here. Got great manpower left on 3-5 side. They got 375 munitions. Feels a little short. I would potentially start converting, depending on.
Yeah, they did just spawn a tank in here though, so I think that's a small part of it. But one thing I did notice is that they did build a garrison just now over here, so this is as much of an attacking garrison as 3-5 has had all game long, really. So we saw it earlier today with Taco. They made a play on, putting a little cap pressure on in 15 minutes or something like that. We'll see if 3-5 can do the same, but what they don't want to see is this little flash that they had for a moment. Nothing to really be worried about, so these guys really can still commit. But cap pressure right now by 3-5 would be a brutal nail in this game if they're able to kind of pressure them into their point again. And we are seeing pressure begin as Fubar, EDI4, Tej, Eli, McMillan all push in. Rum going down on the point, and 3-5 making their advance. Massive spawn wave by ROFS onto this Gary over here. It's going to be a matter of these gunfights. How many will 3-5 be able to take? Will they be able to take the garrison? See one go down.
Be sneaky. Be sneaky.
Yeah, it's time for sneakiness, for sure. Tej is going to hear it. And he's on it.
Fantastic.
Tej takes out the garrison. Helmet is gonna get him anyway. They do have a supply box right here, so he can rebuild this instantly. And he certainly will. Looking for a flat enough surface, I believe. Tej saying he's gonna build it right on my body.
Yeah. No, and 3-5 is gonna respond to that. Oh no, Fubar goes down, but they're gonna respond knowing that that's where their garrison is gonna be. And I wouldn't be surprised if you potentially see some arty shells coming in on that area as well.
Would not be surprised one bit, especially once the spotters get back up here and, maybe catch that spawn wave. Might even see a bombing run on something like that, you know what I mean? I think here comes the arty as well. Defense. Oh, we have another airhead coming in by the ROFS.
And I've had multiple conversations with commanders. I very much prefer putting airheads close to point, because you're able to just start the immediate pressure. Whereas other commanders, you know, they might like to put it on, you know, 150 meters or 200 meters or things like that from point. But as far as using the same exact place back to back, we'll see. Maybe Rietman's actually looking. He's looking south. He should be looking to his right.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to see it there, but the tank certainly knows about it. So, depending on the, honestly, if ROFS spawns here in a big way, they can lose their 4th point here. So it's kind of a strange game. Oh my goodness, what a spawn! And the Tiger isn't able to quite see it with that defilade. I've never seen an airhead spawn this big, I don't think, in a competitive match. Mutual cap pressure starts nearly at the same time. If you're 3-5, you don't want a chance losing this cap race. But oh
yeah,
my goodness.
This is terrible. Oh, here comes the bombing run. If I'm 3-5, I'm immediately calling for a full reset.
Yeah.
You know,
10 minutes left. Oh my goodness. Where are the garrisons? It's on the peninsula. So if 3-5 gets caught out here by like DonGotti or something like that, oh my goodness.
Well, 3-5's taking it back, and ROFS is now in deep trouble with, as you stated, they overcommitted. I mean, they had to. You know, of course, they absolutely had to, but they overcommitted on the airhead, and now everyone's trying to look at they're right on point. This is going to be a big fight right here.
Yeah, but no comms and Puppy, Flare Daddy, able to kind of end that for the moment, but oh man, what a spawn wave on that airhead. 3-5, full reset back here, 9 minutes left, and what a play by ROFS there. Oh my goodness, ROFS commander is just insane.
Unfortunately, I think he mistimed it just a little bit. I mean, I don't know what the resources are, but with where that was called, I don't believe we're going to see another airhead or bombing run before the 2-minute mark, which is of course when the match is pretty much set in stone unless there's a cat battle going on.
Yeah, agreed. That is likely the last play that ROFS would be able to make here, at least from a commander ability perspective. And if we look in closer, 3-5 completely now back in control, back to where they were earlier. And that's a spot that they're happy to be. Look at this. We do see a Tiger diving over here. Or is this a Tiger? No, it's a P4. He's going to go down pretty quick to K. But I think that they're able to get that garrison with that other Tiger now, so my goodness. Great teamwork on display.
Yeah, I like to coin this as breathing, you know. So they exhaled, they started their attack. They're talking about 3-5, of course. You know, as soon as the pressure came back in, I call it inhaling, where they just, you know, they suck right back inwards and really try to get control of the area, and they did a fantastic job really responding to that big massive airhead wave that you stated. And I mean, really the only ground they lost is now they're at this little tree line here, so they lost, I don't know, 150 yards maybe, or sorry, 150 meters, because we're playing hell let loose here. But you know, that's fantastic job, just fantastic response.
But we are in the last little over 5 minutes here. Season coming down to this. This game has been expertly played by both of these teams. It's a pleasure getting to see an off-meta map choice here. But the Germans, right now, having overcome their initial disadvantage, having to cross over. There's no way, right? There's no way he got another one? No, he didn't. Okay, all right. So, for those at home, 2 out of 3 P-strikes landing. But, like I was saying, these two teams played an incredible game. Off meta is tough, and the Germans able to capture midpoint with the disadvantage, which is very impressive by 3-5. One of the more entertaining mid caps I've seen all season long as well.
Yeah, just pretty much getting some sector contesting for the 4th point, but no real pressure from 3-5. I think this is where they just hold on, and barring, you know, some immaculate push through all of 3-5 through that road and through the trees. This is not looking good. Not looking good for ROFS at the moment.
We do still see a little bit of pressure here at South Railway. You know, understandably, ROFS committing to the attack right now. But they have to be careful about not letting it get too out of hand. You know, can't leave anything on the line as far as manpower right now, though, with needing to win this battle over here. And against the STGs that that 3-5 has, it's easier said than done.
3-5 doing a fantastic job letting ROFS come to them. You know, they're gathering here right next to where Blue Chew and Carson Gren are at, and just allowing ROFS to, you know, they're going to be the ones that show their faces out of the hedgerows and out of the bushes. Yeah, just OP spawn right there just got absolutely destroyed, and a nice little arty shell on top just for the cherry, but. Here.
Yeah, they'll probably get that outpost, 2 outposts going down there. And that's going to wipe the front door clean. Final 2.5 minutes here, and 3-5 still in control. ROFS trying to make something happen here at the map edge.
Yeah, they got a good push coming on this side of map edge, but as soon as they crest that hill, that tiger that's sitting there on the east side of gun emplacements is just going to absolutely light them up.
And we see him sitting there. I believe, yeah, Girth Brooks tank. One into the side of that tank, but that's only going to get his attention. Still a nice rocket into the tracks by Greasy before he goes down.
It really was a great shot. I mean, that was probably, what, 200? So, great shot. Just trying to do anything to cause some chaos for 3-5, but, you know, we're a little over 60 seconds away from what seems to be 3-5 being the Division 2 champions.
It certainly does appear that way. See a tank taking out a vehicle over there in the north as well, or the south that would be, top left of your screen. And yeah, just 50 seconds until 3-5 can call themselves the champions here in Division 2. Obviously, this is one of the more interesting divisions in the league, you know, with the winner potentially getting to be promoted to Division 1. But we will certainly see in the offseason lots, obviously, to discuss. But for now, just 30 seconds in between 3-5 and the champion banner being hung. And they are in full control right now, absolutely controlling the line. We're seeing a little bit of frame rate issues here. that, 3-5 are your Division II champions of the inaugural season of the Premier League. What a season by these boys here. Rage was able to do it as well, but undefeated on their way to a championship. Something that, very few teams in this league have been able to do in this divisional format. You're playing peers or near peers every single week, and 3-5 cruising through their schedule, able to get those tough wins when they needed them, and crowning themselves champions. I'm sure that they feel like, they did it for their fallen clanmate and brother, so they got to be ecstatic right now that they were able to bring it home. But ROFS, an incredible season by you guys. Some of the most incredible plays we've seen this game. I mean, your guys' commander, we'll shout him out here in the scoreboard, but 2 tanks destroyed by Peace Strike, 3 very, very valid airheads that nearly turned the tide. What a match, Osiris. So glad we got to stream this one and bring a great match to the people at home.
Yeah, no, I got to say thank you, Caparzo, for bringing me in, and I'll give another shout out to Smithers. I mean, with me being command for EXO and also in leadership, my games just happen to be in the middle of all of your streaming events, and having to co-cast with yourself and Smithers for the Div 1 and Div 2 championship. I mean, fantastic matches, great plays, and overall just a really good time. So thank you so much, Caparzo, for bringing me on.
Of course, Osiris. It's always a pleasure, and what a day of casting it has been. From this morning, 5 a.m. stream for the Division 1 final. Here now in Division 4, or in Division 2, at the end of the day. Whispers of Death Commander, so congratulations to 3-5 once again. The champions of Division 2. ROFS, incredible season. You guys are some of the best players out there. It is unquestionable. You definitely have a lot to be proud of with your season, and I'm so glad to have been able to get to cast this championship match. So, any last words here, Osiris, before we wrap up?
Really looking forward to what these 2 teams do next season. We have also some other clans that are coming back in, like HLLE and whatnot. So I'm real curious as to see what the division shakeups look like. Maybe they make them bigger, maybe they make them smaller. But either way, all these teams, especially in Division 1 and Division 2, putting in the work, and really looking forward to the next season of the Premier League, all across the board from top to bottom. So. Fantastic job by everyone involved from all the games. We've all seen some great moments this entire season, so we're really looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, me as well. So, this season we've crowned 3 champions today. I'm not sure if the stream for Pathfinders is still going on, but if so, take a look at Smithers and DonGotti. Both of their links are in the description. Awake has been casting the other side of this match as well, so if you want to, I'm sure you guys, again, have this open in 2 tabs because you're big fans of the league, but Awake will have the ROFS perspective, so if you want to recap and see what they were looking at, be sure to check out that. But we only have 1 match left in this season of the Premier League, and it's going to be the Division 3 championship, I believe. Let me just make sure I'm right. Yep, the Division 3 championship. So next week is a little bit of an Easter break, and then we are wrapping up the season on Saturday, April 26th at 5 p.m. Eastern with 101A versus the 21st. And I'm going to be doing that one with Smithers, so please join us for that one as we wrap up an incredible first season. But until then, guys, thanks so much for joining us. Congrats again to 3-5, and congrats on an amazing season, ROFS, of course. My name is Caparzo, and we will see you in a couple weeks for the final round of the Premier League. Take care, everyone.